All right, thank you very much. I hope everybody is feeling better after having drank some coffee and well awakened. We'll carry on then with our program. So the way we've designed it, was to first, as I told you at the beginning, to dive into awakening the giant within us, so the entrepreneurial mindset. And I think, thank you very much, Charity, again, for that beautiful presentation. Can we still give a hand of applause for her? It was amazing. So right now we'll go through the private sector, and the person I'm going to call, I think you can see his bio now, is Finos Mapupa. I will do the same, read a little bit and then not to the end. He's a professional town planner and property acquisition specialist with over 7 years of successful experience and valuable knowledge of strategic planning, development planning, site and land acquisition, spatial planning, urban development, property negotiation. I think you can read the rest of the things, but one thing you need to know about him is that he is an entrepreneur. He successfully built his company, MMP Consulting, and has been doing quite well. And one thing particular, and I wrote a post about it after listening to his lecture a few days ago at UJ, he was able to, find a small niche within the urban planning, spectrum. It's so large, and that's why I believe some students get overwhelmed and some others just run away because they can't really figure out what can I do, because there's so many things to do. But he managed to rightfully point, site acquisition. Because who better than town planners can tell people to buy a land at this very spot, to develop at this very area in the city. So he was able then to use that knowledge to build then his company, and he's doing quite well. I believe he will take us through not only his own experience, but how can you as well make your dream possible? How can you as well be a successful businessman? Because, that's what we're talking about when we say entrepreneurship. So with a round of applause, please, Finos.
Oh, it's nice to speak with everyone. It's nice to be here. I'd like to thank Cheza Environmental for this opportunity, actually, to be able to come and speak with everyone, try to share my knowledge. And it's funny enough, just yesterday, I can say I had a revelation from God. And when I just got here, there's something that was very profound that was mentioned by Mr. Goman, to say, Mr. Mapupa, the reason for this is to share entrepreneurial knowledge. It's not there's no one who's going to steal your client, but the whole purpose for this is to say, if this is working for you, you can even take the slide, go and develop your business based on this, and use it to open more planning consultants firms, or whichever firm you believe that will work for you. It's all about finding your niche. It's all about what you are good at. I found my niche in site acquisition, land acquisition, and land development, and that's what MMP is about. Like what Ms. Charity said, you need to take bite-sized task. When you look at MMP today, you go online, you find it. You find it in places where, when you look at it, you're like, no, how did you do it? It didn't happen in one day. I had to learn how to design a website. I hated economics, but I had to learn how to do economics. I had to learn how to do invoices. I had to learn all those things. I had to learn to be emotionally intelligent. I'm still learning as it goes by. Those are qualities that you will need to develop a planning firm. Welcome. Oh, Mr. You can go back. You see, when you look at this picture, it's not just a picture. This is what I resonate with when it comes to planning. These are the people that we are planning for. Township establishments, they happen here. The land development, they need to happen here. People, they need to have title deeds. This land can either be under municipality, government, privately owned, or traditional. You see? And then you will see a tower there. That is land acquisition, connecting people. The fourth industrial revolution, you need to connect people in terms of that. Street light there, it shows that you need to give people light. People need to have access to services. and that's a town planning company, this is where you find your niche. You can be a designer who will design the layout for this area. You can be a land acquisition who will do the acquisition of this property from government to have these people, to give these people title deeds and have a township with them. So in just this one picture, you can have a lot of things that you can do. You can also work on environment. You can do environmental impact assessment. How has this development affected the environment? So welcome and thank you for joining us today. Please take notes, take pictures. If you look at me, I don't think I prepared them.
Sure.
Guys, I'm looking proper just to present this to you.
Proper.
So yeah, this is another we can go forward. So the slides are about entrepreneurship in planning, basic marketing and project management skills. Ask me how are you getting clients? I will tell you. When you see that there's a question coming up, I'll tell you. Let's go forward. So we're going to look at starting and operating a successful planning business. I regard my business as successful.
Successful, yes.
Sorry, I just wanted to go back to your first slide where you mentioned that we're looking for title deeds, we're trying to give people title deeds. I spoke to a lady who studies neurology, neuroscience, that works with the brain, and she was talking about having this community. She has this community somewhere in South Africa where they try to get rid of this fear factor or like trauma that a lot of South Africans actually possess, especially because of our historical past. So what she said was, she gave me a different perspective, because I always have been that person, like, we should push this thing of title deeds for people. But she said, you also shouldn't just give. As a government, you shouldn't give. As a municipality, you shouldn't just give. You should have a person add value to the
title deed, yes.
Or like that it has some type of, that they worked for that title deed, that it's not just given to them. Because the moment you put that mindset in, they're going to want more and become entitled, and that is the problem that we face as well. People, you look at water. The majority of the water that we find in informal settlements is being not well managed and wasted sometimes because people aren't paying for it. There's no value connected to it. Yes. So that value added is so important. So I just wanted to hear your opinion of that.
Yeah, so actually when it comes to that, we once had a conversation, especially when it comes to the RDP development, RDP development are good and not good at the same time. They are giving people houses, which is good, but it's not good because most of South Africans, they can afford to build themselves a house. And what most people want is land. So when you have land that you can establish a township and sell those lands for a certain price, not like a big amount, like you can sell it for 10,000 or even 5,000 to bring that value into that land. Then have a criteria to say you can only build this type of houses. The best example for that, it will be Polokwane municipality. I don't know how many of you are aware of Polokwane municipality in the Limpopo area. So what Polokwane municipality has done is that on your way to Mankweng, Teflop, if you watch Skimsari, they talk about Teflop. Teflop is in Mankweng Township, and there's a route that goes from Polokwane city to Mankweng. And along that route, there were farms that were there that were not being utilized for any farming. So what the municipality has done with those farms, they've acquired those farms and they've done township establishments. And as you go next to the N1, you'll see that there's a certain type of development, the 3-story, the roofing type, and all that. Then when you go towards Mankweng, because it's a township, the development changes. So if you buy your stand that is more closer to the city, you will see that the stand is much bigger, and there's that requirement to say your house must be in a certain way. So to bring that value into a title, I think that is the best way that we can inform the government to do. Yeah. So starting and operating a successful planning business. We're going to look at what is about MMP Urban Consultant. When we started MMP Urban Consultant, the documents that we have done, all the the specific compliance documents that we have done, the problem statement. when you start a business, you must look at there must be a problem. Look at the problem that you are going to solve with your business. And that's where you start. You look at the problem at hand. Then you do a market overview. How many people in the market are there that are solving that problem? If you're going to go into the environmental solutions, you must already know that there's Chesa Environmental and Planning. That is already in the space. So what is it that you're going to do better than them? And why are you going to open that business? If you want to come into such a position, know that Mr. Mapusa is here and waiting for you. And what is it that thing, that niche that you are bringing, and what is it that you are bringing different? We're going to do market overview and customer analysis. Who are your customers? We're going to look at the competitors that are serving those customers. What are they bringing to the table, and which are you bringing better to the customer? The innovative solution to solve the problem which is at hand, which makes you better, for you to be better than your competitors, to serve your customer, right? Then we're going to look at another source of income, which is South African tendering system. Let's go, Mr. Ella. Look at that. Where MMP have been consulted. You'll see where this comes in, the brand. Well, the company, these are company details, our physical address. So your market analysis that you do, it will be based on where your company is based, right? You can't be based in Joburg and say your competitors are in Cape Town. It's not possible. Your competitors are in Joburg, and that's where you must, that's where you must base your competitor review. And this address, it helps you also when you go to your tendering system, where you will need to provide your rate statement, or you need to provide your list. Those are some of the required documents. You must put your cell phone number, telephone, guys. These days, post-industrial revolution will change. The cell phone is much better, and also to have WhatsApp on those numbers. The email, you must invest into a website. Invest into getting what you call this, a web host. .co.za. I use Elite Host. It's very affordable. When I say affordable, I mean I pay 80 Rand for unlimited emails. So I can have like 100 people in my company, and each person will have unlimited space on those emails. They host me for about 500 Rand a year. So those are the 2 months that I pay. So overall, I think it's about 600, 700 give or take, right? That is for the hosting and to have your company website. People won't trust you if your email is saying at gmail.com. When you start, you can start like that. But as you progress, you need to have a .com or .co.za. .com, it helps you when you're starting to deal with international markets. So when you go to international markets, it's much easier when you're using a .com email. .co.za, it limits you, because when you go to areas like Mozambique, Botswana, then there are guys from South Africa. So if you are about to rent an office space, they already charge you in dollars. You understand? So it will have those disadvantages on you. But if your business is going to be based solely in South Africa, then go for .co.za. Much better. You must have your company website. I started my company website on wings.com. It was a free platform. I got a template. I designed my own website myself. After designing the website, I knew how it's done. I knew certain things about the website design, what is needed, what will be done. So as it goes by bite sizes, guys, you will learn about web hosting. Therefore, when you go to someone to assist you to develop a website, you already know that there's a web host. Because there's like WordPress. Now websites these days are no longer designed where you need an IT guy to come and design the website from start and you put it in yourself. No, you have like search engines where the WordPress actually, for example, it has like templates. Yes.
With the email, you mentioned there was a certain website that gives you that 81 for.
It's Elite Host.
Elite Host.
Oh,
Elite Host.
Yeah. So you have GoDaddy. GoDaddy is American. It's a bit expensive. I started using that one, but then I found Elite Host. Elite Host is a South African-based company. Yes, it does web hosting. Then you must invest in the server. Yes.
Sorry, is it 80 Rand per month or is it once
It's per year.
Per year?
Yeah,
Okay.
80 rand per year for the .co.za.
Okay.
That is for the web hosting. Then to have there are two things, just that I forgot the other one. There's web hosting, and then there's like for your website to appear online when they search it.
SEO.
Yeah, that one. It's also, that one is about 580 per month, per year, sorry, annual. So these are annual fees, right? Then you must invest in a server. Server, it doesn't need to be a box. You don't need to have an office. I invested in Ice Drive. Ice Drive is in Canada. The reason is I chose Canada is because of, in terms of knowledge sharing. USA, some of the disadvantages is that they share your information without your knowledge if you're using their servers. So I'm using Canada. Those servers are strictly, it's only you who knows where your information is, and you pay annually. It's about 1,000 rand annually for that Ice Drive. So I store my information there. You can get a lifetime, which is like you get 10 terabytes of storage where you store your information online. 10 terabytes, you can't feel that. You pay a certain amount, like 5,000 rand. It's a lifetime. Yeah, you have access to it lifetime. So then you don't worry to say, if my office burned down, I lose my information. So those are things that you must invest in. But guys, you don't invest them like at once, boom. No, bite sizes. My website started at Wings. A year after it went to GoDaddy. A year after I was on GoDaddy, I couldn't afford it. I found out about Elite Host. When I started Elite Host, there was some glitches. When people put their information on the website, they couldn't come through to me. You know, I feel it to a point where it is right now. You're gonna have your company registration. This is your first step, guys. Registering company is not 800, it's not 1,000 rand, it's 175 rand in South Africa to register a company. 175 rand. When you register your company, you get your CIPC, you get your BEE certificate automatically. You get your tax clearance, tax certificate automatically with that 175 rand. And you get your share certificates and your memorandum of comparison. These documents, those are your documents that are called compliance documents. Which means if you register a company today, all your compliance documents are in order. The only thing you need to do is to open a bank account, and you can start bidding from next week Monday. You can start doing business in South Africa from next week Monday. You know, that's all you need. Your CSD registration, that's the Central Supplier Database. If you're gonna do projects with government, they will tell you need to be registered with CSD. So once you get your bank account from Nedbank or FNB or whichever choice you may take, you go to CSD, you register your company under Central Supplier Database. They will give you that number. You put your banking details there, that for the company. CSD, they will call the bank, hey, do you know this guy? Does he have the account with you? Then they verify you. Then when you bid for projects in government, then they pay straight to that bank account because it's verified, you know. Then you must have your tax number. I told you, you get it when you register the company. BEE level, you get it when you register your company. Then your staff plan registration. Staff plan registration is you email the CEO a staff plan. I opened a planning company. It's Cheza Environmental. This is what we specialize in. This is what we are doing. This is the team that we have. You attach their service. You say to them, can you please register my company in your system? If you go to staff plan, you'll see MMP is there, registered to say this is the company and this is what we do. We are one of the few companies that do land acquisition and travel. Facebook, LinkedIn, and website. I'll talk about those ones when we go back. MMP Urban Consultants. This is a company that is born out of planning, town planning, offering land use management services and site acquisition, land acquisition for renewable energy, public and private developers, and telecommunication infrastructure. The services that we offer under site acquisition are such surveys, technical surveys, environmental impact assessment, civil aviation, resolution, consent uses, rezoning, building plans, lease negotiations, and also signing, and also drawing preparations. So we have a draft person who do our drawings. Some of the youth say, Mr. Mapo, you have an EIS specialist. No, we outsource. As a business person, you must have collaborations. Yes. You have Cheza, environmental, they are good with environmental. Guys, I'm a town planner. I did AutoCAD at school. Eliza was my classmate. You know, I was getting distinctions there. But today I don't like AutoCAD. You will never find me sitting doing AutoCAD. I collaborate with other people who are good at AutoCAD, people who are invested in AutoCAD, people who know the new trends that are coming up. She talked about fourth industrial revolution. There's always softwares that are updating. You understand? And therefore, when you know that you are good at AutoCAD, then you will know that there's a new program that is coming up that allows you to draw that line in a much easier way than going, you know. So that's why collaboration comes in. And you're like, okay, this person is good at this, and then you have them for that. With land use management services, we do your rezoning, township establishment, consent uses, subdivisions, consolidations of land, hearing representations, and market study. And I'm proud to say I've never been to a hearing and it was declined. All my hearings have been approved. Approvals from hearings. You know, if you go to Polokwane municipalities, there's a guy there who once went there. They told him, call Mr. Mapupa. He will come and represent you well. He was stubborn. He was like, no. That application was declined. He called me afterwards. We appealed the decision. And we went there, presented them, and it was approved. Now they are going to build a hospital. Look at that. If you didn't follow, you know, find your niche. Hearing representation is part of the niche that I found. Why? With hearings, you need to understand policy. Understand what policy says. If you are in Joburg, talk about your nodal review, talk about your school mark, talk about your land use scheme. If you touch all those things, even if a developer is saying, no, it's going to attract thieves, you're like, nah, these policies, they don't say anything about thieves, but they talk about bringing a new lifestyle into the city. You argue with emotional intelligence. You argue looking only at the facts, and that will give you that niche. Their confidence when you go. I sit there in front of a municipal manager in a hearing, and sometimes, the first time, I pretended like I knew what I was doing. I was a candidate planner by then. I went to a hearing in planning. They hired a lawyer. I was also news. This other lady from newspaper, she called me, acting as if she was a owner. She was objecting, just to hear my thoughts. She took everything I said, put it on the newspaper. They called even a lawyer. I was like, I'll prepare for this one. I prepared. I went there. I was speaking to the facts and what I knew. I came out, they were like, proper. They came in, they were saying, no, it was for a telecommunication matter. They were like, no, it's going to cost us 10. I'm like, that thing is 25 meters. An average person is 1.6 meters or 1.8 meters. Me, I'm 1.6 something. I'm like, how are you going to get cancer if you are only 1 meter below a 25 meter high mass? So it's just the me. There was a study that was done by her. You must know your market. That's where the market study comes in. Know your market. If you are doing telecommunication, know everything about telecommunication. Know that there are policies. There are municipalities that has policies that regulate telecommunication. There are municipalities that only do not have. So you go there. There was a municipality in Paris. Where there when I liked the projects that were there. But then when I was starting, because when I get there, I take a building plan and I stamp for myself. Then I give to the planner, I explain that this is a tower, it's going to be here. These are the servitudes, these are the building lines. We are not affecting any of them. It's like, okay, I agree with you. You check his planning scheme, like, okay, approval. There I was getting approvals in 1 day. They were like, farmers, how are you doing it? I'm like, you just need to put your time in what you love and what you enjoy doing. Competitive edge. Have a competitive edge when you're opening a business. If you don't have a competitive edge, forget. You are not gonna make it. If you are just opening business for fun, you can't do that. Have a competitive edge. Be passionate about what you're doing. At MMP, we anticipate time-consuming tasks. They know. With town planning, there are time-consuming tasks that we take light. Like just assessing a title deed. It's very important, but people take it light. Because there can be a condition that is limiting you from doing a development in that title deed. Then you must know beforehand that there's a restrictive conditions that you must remove on that thing. Look at your town planning scheme. Before you even request the zoning certificate from a municipality, your town planning scheme, it will tell you there are 5-meter street building line, which cannot be relaxed. That's clue one. There are 3-meter building line, 3 building line. You cannot relax it. Forget, your application is going to be declined. You must then know those things. Those are time-consuming tasks. Because now you have submitted an application with your 3-story house that is on the street building line. And they are going to only see that when they send it to a manager. And the time they send it to a manager, it's already 6 to 12 months ahead of time.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, Baba, your house is on the building line. We cannot approve this. Now you must go and explain to the client that I didn't see something so simple. Those are time-consuming tasks, and that's how you become. That's your competitive edge that you must look at. Then strategic forward thinking. That's what I'm talking about. Know your plans. If you are dealing with a municipality, know the city's plans. If your clients are in only Joburg, know all the strategic plans, not by heart. Have an idea what a nodal review is. Have an idea. With Joburg, there's a challenge of what capacity, electricity, and water. So you must come with solutions. Already for electricity, you will say, no, I will do what you call this, I will do solar. But then with water, you can't just put a borehole. This is a city of gold. There are holes underground everywhere. So you must have a solution for that. Those are things that you must always have in mind. Cost efficient, anticipate costly processes, such as sensitive areas. When if you want some, call me. If you want a data for environmental, I have like a big Excel, a KMZ file from Google Earth, which indicates these areas are sensitive, these areas are not sensitive. And that's the reason for collaboration. If you don't know me, you can't call me and ask for those things. Now you know me, you call me, I give you for free, so that you become progressive, so that you plan with ethics. My mentors are ethical people. I'm sure you know some of them. I took as my mentor. I have Dumisani from Noxa 23 as my mentor, and I have Maggie Sote. She's a lady. She's from Muteo Resources. Yes, those are my mentors. People that are ethical. People who they were told at some point that to get this 10 million project, you will have to give out 2 million to support other things. And they didn't. And that is why I follow them. Because they do things according to the book. You know, you are able to draw a line. When you go to a municipality, you are like, hey, Mr. Liza, why are you not approving my rezoning? Yes, I know we were at school together. Put that aside. This rezoning is done according to this policy. These are the steps that we followed. And you are asking me for a letter from Vodacom. Why do you need that? It's not part of the policy. You understand? You must be able to have those conversations. And to have those conversations is hard because these are people that you know. And that is why you must have mentors that follow the law. It will be easier for you to make it in the business. Let's proceed. The problem statement that we found, there is a lack of recognizable brand, of which we need to identify our intended audience. There's a lack of recognizable brand in the rural areas. Most of us, we are doing planning in the urban area. I specialize in rural development areas, where I have to deal with tribal councils and rural development and COCTA and the developers. I look into the interest of everyone. Usually private, they want to suck, not suck, sorry, wrong. they want to use tribal council, you know, they want to exploit them, so that's the way, they want to exploit. So when I come as a developer, especially knowing my background, where I come from, remember your roots, then you're like, no, you are not doing things right, here is how you must do them, you know. Then the objective thereof is to develop a go-to marketing plan to access renewable energy market. This is something that we have started now. Commercial property developers in the rural areas, malls that are upcoming, you know, offices that will be upcoming, the smart cities that they are developing in rural areas, and telecommunication infrastructure providers. You know, these are the existing of what I call the sales is selling also. Gyro is selling. Know your market. Gyro is just last month is selling its all towers. The new company is going to take over their towers. Already you know, okay, I must look out for tenders to supply that service. Let's go for what? So this was the go-to market strategy for MMP in 7 steps. What are your target markets? Who are your target customers? What about brand positioning? What are your offering? What are your channels? How will you build your budget model? What is your marketing strategy? Your channel will talk about relationships. The relationships that you have with the department, the relationships that you have with environmental, and the relationships that you have with other professionals. Because now if they call me, farmers, they need the land surveyor. Can you do the work? I'm like, yes, I can do it. Then I call my land surveyor, hey, land surveyor, come through with the project. This is what you are required to do. Can we do it? They're like, yes, but we will need an extra engineer. We'll collaborate. You bring those people into the thing. Thank you, Mr. Allen. I forgot my water there.
Yeah, no problem.
So these are the steps that you need to take into mind as you are developing your company. Let's proceed. I'm going to answer those questions. Don't worry. The market overview for telecom infrastructure. Market trends. There are exciting growth prospects for this industry, such as 5G development, which is already in action. Understanding your market. Spectrum action expected in South Africa this year. Development of information. What do you call this? Internet of Things, AI, and curbing the digital divide. The government drive. The president about 3 years back, 3 to 4 years back, they what do you call this? They did say to say we are looking into this infrastructure, telecom, and this is what we want to achieve. Already, that strategy, this is out of my business. So now, this is what I did when I started. This we have cancelled it. There are oversupply of towers now. So what is the renewing of leases of existing towers? American Tower Corporation is putting solar in all their towers. That's the new work that you must be looking at if you are in that space. You know, others they are looking at putting more towers where there is no capacity. Capacity, we mean there are 5 million people, and the tower that is they can only handle 2.5. So you need an additional tower to handle the other 2.5 million. Because you know, in our locations areas, people have 3, 4 phones, and each phone is like puts 4 SIM cards. Hey, not the things we see. But that is business for you. That is business. That's where you come in, capacity. Then we have profitability of the industry. Guys, when you are doing a business, you are not volunteering. You are there for profit. You are there to make money. You must remember that it's not a charity. Business and charity, 2 different things. When you're in business, you must. No, not charity was. I mean, giving. Yeah. So you must look at the profitability of the business at the current status quo. Will the business be profitable? I would say if when I'm going to telecommunication at this current moment, looking at the competitors that are there, I wouldn't advise you to start your business based on telecommunication because the profitability has went down. Companies are using the companies that have been there. Other companies are closing down. Atlas, which was SBA, which is now SBA, has moved to Cape Town. It's no longer national. Know your market, what's happening, you know, and yeah. Advanced infrastructures on the continent. There was 2G and 3G that time. They wanted to put 5G. You must know there's a rain that came up. Rain is saying that you need to provide fastest network through towers and not through fiber. Remember, fiber is faster than towers because towers is beams network and fiber is always there. Unless if something happens in the ocean. That's only when you get disturbed. But other than that, fiber only you always have it, and then it's also affordable. So rain when it's coming, that's an opportunity for you to say, okay, how can I penetrate rain? How can I go to rain and say, I can get 2 more sites than anyone? then you know you've been working with ATC that has the highest number of towers in South Africa, also in outside South Africa. You know, you have other towers in Botswana that you know. Then you go to Reno, like, okay, there's this upspan of towers. Which areas are you targeting? People in the townships have more money than people in the urban area. Because people in the urban area, they are just wealthy, but their spans are big. It's like 1 hectare, 2 hectare, 1 hectare, 2 hectares. Then to have towers there, you see one tower is supporting only 1,000 families. But in the township, there are 10 families in one stand. That's your target market. Those are the areas you are looking at. Soweto and Soshanguve.
Business.
Soshanguve, all the, you see Gomorrah, Alexandra, that's where your business is. Because those people, they always have data, they are always on Facebook, they are always on Twitter, they are always on WhatsApp. You can never call anyone from Lokshin and you won't find them on WhatsApp. They buy data. They know all the specials. Some of them, like I said, they have 4 SIM cards. They know a special on MTN, Vodacom, Cell C, and Telco. So you must understand your market, and that's where you, okay, I'm a person wants to open a business, that's where I see a niche. Sometimes it's hard to get recognized in the market because there are people that are there. But when there are people like me, people like Dumisani, people like Tugel, people like Maggie, you know, people like Agani, people who will connect you, people like Charity. She's working for the city of Johannesburg. And also, well, the person here from the Department of Rural Development and Land Reform, that's where you get your bursaries. Yeah. You get your bursaries there. You get business from Rural Development and Land Reform. You know, when you know these people, you can just give a call. You must, and also when you're a business person, you must have a guard to lower yourself. I'm like, hey, it's your color. Guys, it's bad. Don't you have anything that I can maybe put my proposal forward? You know, then you penetrate the market. The target market analysis, the telecom, this is on telecommunication. We're gonna go to renewable energy. Don't worry, that's where this is now. Take note when we go there. This wireless infrastructure serve all mobile network operators, large and small, licensed and unlicensed, with clients including Vodacom, MTN, Telkom, Aerial, Orange. I'm sure some of you don't know our Orange network. We have Orange network in South Africa. Really? You know about Liquid? Liquid does fiber. Several smaller operators and Wi-Fi providers. We have Orange in South Africa. Just that is small. It was starting, then they could, I don't know what happened. Maybe they didn't produce enough SIM cards. Then we have also an FNB. Chelsea went bankrupt because they were renting that big space there by Woodmead for millions. Understand your market. Then you take a learning. Oh, I don't need an expensive office. I must buy or use my home. Or go to Pegasus. Pegasus, they rent an office space for 1,000 rand. You go there maybe once. You can have your meetings there, formal. You know. But you must know that Pegasus sometimes, some of them are associated with scams, scamming people. So if you choose the one in Joburg there, you know that clients are not going to come because it's associated with people getting arrested. It's always on TV. You choose the one in Midrand there by Waterfall City. You know more clients will come because it's Waterfall. Yeah. Then the market supports 4 main mobile operators with the players Vodacom, MTN, Cell C, joined by Telkom in 2010. So Telkom had the largest number of infrastructure in terms of cell masts, but he sold most of them to Vodacom. Yeah. Which remains the smaller challenge. All of the MNOs have received 4G licenses to add to their 2G and 3G spectrum, driving network investment in South Africa. So most of these companies, during the announcement of the investment of 350 billion, they received licenses so that they can progress to 5G now, faster network. It doesn't cause cancer, guys. It's just a myth. The tower, when it's up there, that's why when you're in town, you only see they put antennas on the buildings and they don't put towers. That is because there will be people that are in close proximity of the tower. That's if it's a tall, high-rise building, and that's why you don't see towers in that sense. You must look at your target customers. On our findings, that Garok proactively identifies suitable tower sites for its customers, partnering opportunity for MMP event consultants. That was our finding. Tabure Tawako embraces the need to incorporate micro-enterprises in the execution of its projects, subcontracting in townships and rural communities across the provinces. That was an opportunity for MMP event consultants. Main pain points is to acquire site to build, work on a budget, and delivery time frames. Target customers, these are the companies that contractual communication infrastructure that are mainly seeking land acquisition services from the third-party land acquisition consultant. Which are the towers. This is now SDA, this is Atlas, Vodacom, Gairo, Helios Towers, and Tabure. These are the tower development companies that we were looking at the time when we developed the company. The key takeout there was subcontracting, because we are coming into a business. Even though you know what you are doing, that was the key takeout. We subcontract under target customers. Identify nominal points through leveraging community relationships. So if there are communities that you know they don't have towers, what we were doing is to put towers there, put textiles there, sign leases with them, and submit to these companies for consideration. And that was a means of us establishing contact. Before I dive in, any questions? Yes.
Do you ever do projects where you haven't been assigned the project, but it's almost like a promo project?
Yeah.
And then they see your work and they say, listen, you're doing great, I think we should hire you for the actual project. But if they say no, you're risking all that time that you put into that. Do you ever do something like that, especially with a startup business?
Yes, actually that's what you must focus more on, because you must earn trust from the client. I had to do sites for Vodacom in Alexandra and Tembisa, where they gave me site and they wanted to see how fast I can get the client. So when they give you to Telecom, they give you a nominal point. You can be in the middle of the road, but then you take that nominal point, you draw a 500 meter radius, you find it directly. The best way we do it, we use one map, we use Wazi map, and we use title deed, Windage. For us to do that is to get the ownership, and also to know the person, to call the person to say, will you be interested in this? And also to see if the spend is big enough for us to go and put a tower there. Those are time-consuming tasks. So once you use those softwares with Google Earth, you will see, okay, there's a space, then I'm going to put it up. Then the time you go on site is just to confirm that no, there's no sewage pipe that is running there, or there's no main pole that is on that position, that's what we did. And then we delivered 3 candidates, so the given that's like 7 sites, 7 nominals. That means it's 3 candidates per site, that's 3 times 7. Then you get the number of how many property owners we get to propose the thing to. Then we delivered that within a month with the leases. And they were happy. They were like, no, okay, we can give you site. Yeah.
And just out of interest, you mentioned that the manholes and the sewage wasn't on that site. Does that have conflict with a cell tower, or is it just that you can't build over it, which I'm assuming?
Yes, you cannot. So those are like that. I said it's a time-consuming task. So you cannot build where there's a manhole. You cannot build where there's a sewage line running, because should anything happen to that sewage line, they will need to access it. Yeah, and that's what happened. Yes.
Yeah, my interest was on the main pain points when you were explaining them. So you just told me how important it is to know your client.
Yes.
And you need to know what is it that they are aiming for, so that you know where your business is.
Yes.
So I think that was a very good analysis of research to know the pain points. Because sometimes we go to a client, we don't understand exactly what they need.
What the solution they need.
Yes,
Yeah.
and you end up pursuing something that in the long run goes to drain, and your profitability is affected. But if you know the pain point and you know how severe it is by your analysis, then it makes your business position itself even better to progress.
Yeah, because now we're gonna dive also into the renewable energy. So the pain point. So you need to attend webinars, guys. Some of them are for free. Some of them you pay a certain fee. When you attend these webinars or these events, it gives you an insight of what's happening. There's a lot of people now who are looking to do telecommunication, but they don't know that they are no longer taking, or they are fed up with most of the companies, whereby Vodacom opened its company now that deals with such acquisition. It's called MAST. So they deal with the site acquisition process. So what we are doing now as private companies, they are already doing it inside. So they are already eliminating a lot of companies. That's like putting a self-operated, what you call this, trailer at a Pick and Pay. That means that you will take away the cashier jobs. So that's what they are doing. But it's part of what you call this, I can't say revolution. It's part of
evolution.
Evolution, yeah. As we are going by, planning is ever changing. Yes,
do you know where you could get hold of these webinars, or where it's posted, where to find out about these things?
Most of them are in LinkedIn. So to start with is to follow. For renewable energy, you must follow the South African Wind Energy Association. They will tell you when there's a new webinar that is coming up, what it will be about. Mostly on LinkedIn. I found them on LinkedIn and Facebook. So you must first follow the associations and the companies that are already in the space. We have what we call the top 5 in the country. For every industry, there are top 5 companies. If you go to law, there are top 5 companies like the Forbes. Follow those companies so that they announce what's upcoming. Then you then go and attend those things, and you have much insight. This was presented last week at the webinar by South African Wind Energy Association. This is a renewable space that we are currently diving into. If you open a company and you look at this, I don't know maybe if you have the right relationships like me, but this is an opportunity for learners. Between 2010 and this is between 2010 and 2021, they launched the bid window 1 to 4. This is when the load shedding started, or when they were anticipating load shedding. The bid is where companies come and bid to offer renewable energy solutions. The companies that are doing your solar farms and your wind turbines and also your hydro plants, they bid to say, for City of Johannesburg, we're gonna do a hydro plant in Mozambique, and we're gonna take that electricity and bring it to Joburg. You understand? They are between 2010 and 2019. Then the renewable energy independent power production, renewable energy independent power production producer procurement program. Right?
Nice.
It was launched in 2020 to urgently bring new generation on board. We have townships that we're establishing every day as town planners, right? But only one station was built. Only one. In Mpumalanga, it was built. That puts strain on the current grid. So, the more we build more houses, the more we do more rezonings for flats, the more we do more student accommodation. Instead of one property having just 2 lights, now it has 50 lights. It's putting strain on the grid. Our power stations are not being serviced because they are working overtime. We have only one that was built and it's still in building now. What is the solution? We have to have renewable energy, right? They must put power into the grid. And that's where I'm coming in now. I'm there to say there's a community in Makado that had 500 stands. Now it has 1,500. We need a solar farm there to put into the grid to support that community. And me, I'm good with resolutions. I know people from rural development. I can get this resolution within a month. That is because there's lack of recognizable brand or person who's doing rural development resolution. And developers, they don't know the process. Town planners that have been in the industry, they don't know the process because it's forever changing. This is an opportunity. They launched this in 2020. In 2021, they launched a bid window 5 of a renewable energy independent power producer procurement program, resulting in 1,608 megawatts of wind procured. This was in the Western Cape. Yes.
To what extent is, I guess, municipal legislation open to that, of putting power back into the, or, if you, let's say you have a solar farm or your development is completely off the grid, and you have extra that you are able to put back into the grid. I'm not sure if Tshwane has got enough, I know Western Cape has, but to what extent are we there that we can, because I think if we have that type of legislation, then it also just promotes that type of development. So I'm not sure if you know.
We're going to talk about it. You'll see it. There's a document that regulates. And also this bid window, it forms parts of that regulation. Now there's a bid that is out. It's closing out on the 30th of May. Where if you're a big renewable energy producer, you bid to say, I want to do renewable energy in Tanin. You know, there's that opportunity. And then there's a document that regulates that. Yeah. Then, in announcement of the removal of 100 megawatts distributed generation cap, it happened in 2022. Neocom established in August. This is a company that does renewable energy also. Bid window 6 was launched with 4.1 gigawatts of wind bids submitted and no wind procured deals. A blow to the wind and market in SA. So if you look now currently, actually I was fortunate enough, I got a project with a company that is in Cape Town. We are doing wind turbines in Mpumalanga, the Misty Valley area. We were able to sign leases, option to lease for those wind turbines in Misty Valley. And currently they are undergoing the environmental studies and the engineering studies. Eskom released interim grid capacity allocation rules in March. These are part of the things that regulates the development of these wind farms or renewable energy. Eskom released the proposed gauge connection process, what you must follow as you do this in August 2023. Then the ERA bill, Parliament consult on ERA bill. So the Parliament did some review on this renewable energy. This is about go-to-market strategy. This is you understanding your market. Please proceed, Mr. President. Then we come to the current. Then what you call this? January 2024, the calls for public comment on the draft IRP 2023. This is the document that is regulating what you call this? The renewable energy. Then generation connection capacity associated 2025 addendum was published. You know, if you read that addendum, it will tell you how much they are looking at in terms of renewable energy, what they are expecting, and how you can fit in as a business person in that. And that's where you find your niche. You must find a loophole. You know, most of the renewable energy companies, where are they based? When you search them, Cape Town. What do they know about Mpumalanga? What do they know about Joburg? This is where you play. This is where you live. You know every corner of this place. You already know you can't develop in Soweto because of the mining fight that were happening. So you have that knowledge. You use that to your power. What do the company that is in Cape Town know about Northwest? Nothing. And that's where you come in. You know. The draft RFP comment deadline extended to March 2024. It has passed. Then the CIWA call South African. It calls for complete overhaul of the draft. This was to look at the draft that was released. This is the one that regulates the development of renewable energy. The National Assembly passes electric regulation amendment bill. I don't know if you saw this. It happened. It was on the news. Then the election day is on the 29th of May. That has altered a lot of things. But then the bid Windows 7 submission is closing on the 30th of May. This is for the companies, the big companies. So for you to do is to go and where are they submitting? Then you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 companies have submitted to say they want to produce this and this and this here. Those are your clients. You call them. I know you are going to put a solar farm in Tanin. Do you even know how to speak Tonga? I have a town planner who is from there. community can relate to you. I'm here to assist you with the resolution for that solar farm. You know how much those things pay, guys? For example, I get paid about, what is the exact amount? Hey, let me check the invoice. I want to give you the exact fees, guys, so that you know there's a market in these things. Just bear with me. It will help you. I hope it motivates you. It's not to flex. It's for motivation.
Yes.
So many invoices there.
No. Too much money.
Too much money, guys. It's not me. It's not me, guys. Guys, this thing. Guys, I'm sorry. I just want to give you an idea of how much you can make. Should you go and open a cleaning company to do these things, you know?
To do facilitation of community resolution.
Yes, or to sign this list. Yeah, as it opens. So what I do is I sign lists. Then I get paid per megawatt for a wind turbine, and then for a solar farm I get paid per hectare that I sign. You know. Then there's all the integrities in terms of the traveling and the stuff that you also add in that invoice. Yeah, let's proceed as we're going by. Hey, this laptop, guys, the devil is waiting here. I won't allow it. We must share information.
Yes.
The market overview, South Africa Renewable Energy Grid Survey 2023, total 31,264 megawatt projects in SA. These are upcoming, these are some of them that are already existing. There's a pure wind projects, these are wind turbines. There's a wind battery storage. This is this one, the wind and battery, is a hybrid station. You find it in areas that have wind and flat surface, where you have wind turbines and you have solar farms. Then they make it a hybrid. Then you have a wind and PV. This is the one for wind turbines and solar. This one is for the battery storage. So it's areas where you find that it's far away from the substation. So the power that is generated must be stored in the batteries and then be transferred to the substation that is nearby. Then that's a total of 31,264 megawatts of power. These are the projects that you will see that are currently underway. If you go to South Africa Association, you will see what's happening there. That is the grid survey that was done. You will see this map and how it's coming up. Yes.
With these projects, are you only involved in constructing or planning, doing the planning part and then constructing the, for example, the wind farms? Or do you also go to the extent where you maybe, strike a deal with the people that are actually constructing this, that are paying for this, and you become a shareholder in that project and actually get long-term benefits from it? Or how does it work? Is that even possible?
As a planner, you deal mostly with the rollout, where they will be constructed. Then, in terms of what you call this, to be part or to be an investor or to be part of, to have shareholders, that what you call this, the people who have an opportunity of that are the actual land owners. So the people who will be owning the land is the ones that they can collaborate with the company that will be doing that project. But usually companies, they prefer a lease over collaboration. That is because they can regulate, it's easier to regulate. But also it's also in a way sense of ripping off the community, because they can make more and not give back to the community. But in a sense, there's a possibility that they're clouds the whole month and the power that they can generate. So when they're clouds, solar still generate power but not enough, you see, then they can run on a loss. So it's a win-win situation. There's possibilities that you lose, but there are also possibilities that you will win in that sense. Let's proceed. Oh, did you forget about you guys? I'll tell you.
The invoice.
I'm still praying for this thing. Then when you develop a company, you must do what we call a competitor review. Remember I mentioned something? You are in Joburg, your competitors can't be in Cape Town. They must be in Joburg. So this study was conducted by the Masters in Business, Masters in MBA, Joburg School. They were the ones who were doing this study for on behalf of MMP Bank Consultants to say your strength, digital offering, position as affordable, take forward. But your weaknesses, your communication, don't connect with the customers. That's why we will not get insights. We're not outlining the experience, success, and the method of technology that we're using. You understand? Now we make sure that we outline that. So this is the technology that we use. Yeah. And we're not communicating with various business. And now our competitors, these are the things that they are doing. And this is the weaknesses that we were seeing from the outside, because we were not interviewing them personally, but from an overview thing. Spilasonke, they were only focusing more on land acquisition. Now they are struggling because companies, like I said, they don't have more sites for land acquisition, and now they are really they're changing their market strategy. Now they are doing land applications, you know. So you must also look at that. Then the most important finding is a professional look gives customers perceived quality, the expertise, method, technology, and previous business back up this initial perception. So when I send my quotation these days, I attach my approvals from other people to say, yeah, this is the approvals for what I have done. You can get a cheaper quote, but are you guaranteed that it will be approved? It's the way that you market yourself and the way for clients to come back to you. Let's proceed. Then the brand positioning. For large renewable energy and telecommunication agencies who require land or site acquisition rapidly and with precision, MMP Urban Consultants leverages uses of GIS software to proficiently achieve outcomes at speed. Unlike other contemporaries, we embrace how technology can proceed us to our goals faster when used by experts in urban planning. Like I said, instead of me sitting in a computer and doing a layout for 5 hours, I'd rather have someone who will sit in that computer and do it within an hour or 2 hours. You understand? That is being proficient, and that is being using technology and having the right people to use that technology. You must talk about speed. You must look at the expertise. What is the benefit-led? Benefit messaging, benefit-led products, land use management becomes secondary messaging. Relationships, shared value. Where we are today, shared value with Cheza Environmental. Relationships, you must build relationships. Technology, use technology in your company. Have students in your company if possible. Students, they know technology. You remember yourself when you came out of college or came out of university. You knew certain things that people that were on the ground didn't know. When I came out of university, I was using Google Earth to create what we call a radio plan for telecommunication. Back then, there was no one. So you draw your 500-meter radius, you put it on the ground, then you raise it up a bit above level, 25-meter high from the ground level. Then you already see the mass that is 25 meters in that area. It has pockets where there's no network because there's a mountain or because there's a skyscraper. You already use that to your advantage. Don't worry. Communication style, expertise, success, technology, and benefit. With expertise in urban and regional planning, monitoring and evaluation, land and site acquisition specialization, urban sustainability management, and relationship management, MMP is ready to meet your needs. This is going through all our clients. That is what we say. I won't dive into details. This is what I was talking about. We delivered 7 sets with 3 candidates each within a week for Vodacom. This was our marketing strategy to inform them this is what we are doing and this is where you can find out. The use of technology, that's what we are talking about. WASIMAP, ArcGIS, PlanetGIS, AutoCAD, Survey General. Some of these things are free. Survey General is free. Municipal GIS systems are free. You just need to register. Indeed, you can pay certain amount. This search, also you pay certain amount when you do those searches. Google Earth, you just install. And that's how you use those things. FMF is used technology, urban and royal relationships. We know chiefs. We've been with the chief there, what's his name? There in Mafeking. We did a lot of resolutions with that chief. Now we know him personally. We can call him, hey, you know, I have a development coming. Can we sit and talk about it beforehand? We sit, we talk about it. Those are relationships, shared value. The channels that you will use. MMP Consultants, when it started, relied on outbound method as means of establishing contact with clients. Business cards, dropping of proposal, a target client reception, and word of mouth referrals. Initial channels, business cards, reception drops, and referrals. MMP started incorporating inbound method as well to attract, delight, and engage our target market together with our customers. These are our outbound methods. I won't dive much into them as you may see them. Then our inbound method that we have created, we have our, remember I talked about the LinkedIn profile that we have, your Facebook profile. You start blogging, informing people that you are there, you are talking about this training. You must share information, because tomorrow you kick the bucket, you go and sleep with all that knowledge, and some people, they are going to use that knowledge, you know. So you must share that information. Let's proceed. Then the online strategy. With online strategy, you can have what we call primary site and a microsite. A primary site is for product content and scope. So this is to detail everything that you have done, everything that you do, and the projects that you are currently busy with. Then microsite just focuses on main topic of theme. You know, that's where you post rezoning, this consent use is this, property management is this. That is just to what you call it. And this bite sizes that as you go by, you create your company. But these are the skills that you will need. You understand? You see, with brand message, you must cooperate. This one, it talks about corporate information. Who are you? Where are you based? Storytelling with a microsite. You say, we did a township establishment in Mutata, where we had to deal with the community, and you have to resolve land claim issues. You tell a story and how you became successful in that project. That's the difference between primary site and the microsite that you may create. The market strategy. There are some strategies in this slide that do not resonate well with planning. But depending on what you are offering, some of them they go well. So website design. You must have a website design properly. I shared where you can get it. Let me know if you need my designer. If you go to my website and you like it and you want that design, I will connect you. Affordable price. Search engine optimization. Some of them it will work, and this is for when they search a template. Now some people just go and Google template, then you see this also this company is on top. That is because they optimize search engines. So that search engine, they design engine in a way that when they search town or planner or planning, then it says your company must then go first. Then when they click, they see your company first. Social media marketing. LinkedIn is your friend, Facebook is your friend, and what do you call this? Instagram, there are people who love property. Hi, I'm Panos. I'm a property developer. If you want a house in Stanton, call me. Call them like, hey, don't you have clients who want the rezoning? DM them, jump in their DM. Hey, I'm this and this and this and this is what I do. They will respond. If they don't respond, it's fine. You try next door. Email marketing. My email signature, if it comes and you haven't seen me, you'll be scared. When you meet me like, you and that email, my email is proper. You must have a proper email signature. You must speak about you before they even see you. They're like, okay, this person is professional. This person is not gonna rob me. They can trust you with 1 million. You know, before they even see you. Analytics and reporting. Analyze what's working for you and what's not working for you. You know, don't stick on Instagram page and you don't even get 1 like. You know, I post more on my LinkedIn than on my Facebook, because on LinkedIn you get reactions. Town planners are also getting more information. You understand? That's part of analysis. Some of the things they will work. Paid advertising, I don't do it yet, but I see there's a gap. I'm gonna start doing it. I'll be like politicians. You see where you see IFP everywhere, FPFF, ANC everywhere. D8. I'm gonna do it also. You're gonna be seeing my post here on the freeway, but the straight post when you see your town planner, it's a dream, but it's gonna happen within the next 6 months. I'm telling you. This is something that came to me and said, like, I don't see any town planner along this road. That's what I'm gonna do. Collaborations. Here we are. If you look at Dudu back there, that is one of the people she can testify to this. We just collaborated. Now we are delivering a big project for Ekurhuleni municipality, the township establishment. There are challenges that we will face, but those challenges must not stop you. There are times when you won't have money, like me and we were talking yesterday. This is a reality that we are experiencing. We didn't have money for a title deed yet, getting a title deed, but we made it work. For that project, we're gonna be pushing it. The client is saying we're only gonna pay you after you're done with, and we're saying no, pay us first. But then we're like, nah, man, is it worth it to lose the work because what we pay first? No, we're gonna do it. Those are the things that is happening right now as we speak. Collaborate, and that's what we are doing. A blog, I give or take. I'm not good with blogs. I've not been doing blogs. Blog is where you take a photo. I am Panos, the owner of MNP Bank Consultants. I'm sure you saw my video. I was just there like this. That is because I'm not good with blog. But otherwise, if you are good at the technology and blogging is one of the skills that you have, use that to attract customers in what you do. The budget and timeline. Mr. Mapo, yeah, I hear you are talking about companies and budget. How much do I need to start? If I tell you you don't need money to start a company, you need 175 francs to start it. You register it. Then you move by steps. The first thing you can do immediate, trade events at no cost. You know, you go to events, the blog, the webinars that are happening. You understand the industry, no cost. That is when you are starting to network, to build companies network. Then short term, branding. It's important to brand, guys, but it's not gonna stop you from doing. With your Gmail account, you can get proper clients. You know, you start there, you brand. You have your company logo, you have your signatures, you have your email, your logo design. You know, you choose your colors. You see me and my company. Chairs are also we are aligned. Yeah. With blue and white. Yes. Blue is my favorite color. I chose those colors myself. I designed the logo myself. You'll see my logo is one of those logos that you'll find there on free design thing. Because when I started the company, I did it myself. I said I was going to learn to do it. And as time goes on, I just adjusted it in terms of color scheme and how it will appear. I was so surprised. This at that time I was on Facebook. I saw another company with the same logo.
Same logo.
I was like, oh my god. But I was like, but we're not providing the same thing. Yeah. The medium-term enterprise development programs and strategic partnerships, no cost. Apply for enterprise development program, 6 strategic partnerships, attend events. That's the only way you get more clients. Webcast and broadcast advertising and speaker fees. When I go to UP, I was there, not so much. I get paid there. They pay me to say, Panos, you came in and spoke there. Here is something. You understand? But because some of my work ethics is to help other people. Some places I go, or most places I go, give advices for free. So this is like your 6 month or 5 month strategy that you can use when you are building your company. Another source of income, the tendering system. The tender is an invitation to bid for projects. I'm sure you are aware of these processes. You are aware of what a tender. Sorry, excuse me. What a tender is. The tender or bid process is designed to ensure that the work to be done is given out in a fair way. There are a number of policies known as procurement processes which are used as guides on how to make decisions on which a tender is accepted. And therefore, for them, when they make that decision, Mr. Eliza, if you go forward, they make that decision based on what you submitted. If you can go to the next slide, please. And those things are going to be these ones. These are your compliance documents, your BEE, your core, your tax clearance, your personal rate certificate or your lease document, if you have, and also the company lease document or rate statement if the company owns a property. Registration in software, like I said, it's free. BE certificate is free on CIPC. That is the registration certificate. It's free. Tax clearance, they will give it to you. But in the coming year, you must get an accountant if you are well established. If you are not well established, you can go yourself, learn e-filing to say I only did 1,000 rand in the last financial year. Then they will give you a tax clearance. You'll pay a certain fee for that. Then as a town planner or town planning a company, when you do, most of the tenders that you will do, they will require a methodology of how you are going to carry out work. That methodology says, we're going to have a professional planner who's going to do this. We're going to have an inception. Inception is you getting title deeds, zoning certificates. That's for land use applications. Or for a policy development, then you will look at the policies that are there, inception. Then you indicate how you're going to carry out. You're going to review, look at opportunity. Then you're going to review the study phase. Then you're going to propose, and that's you're going to have your final plan. Professional team. You don't need to have the whole professional team when you start. The important thing is to collaborate. You may not have a land surveyor. Call Chesa Environmental. Hey, do you have a land surveyor that we can collaborate with? Do you have an environmental specialist that we can collaborate with? Then you work with that team. And you must have ethics. When you get that tender, call those people back. It's not nice. I'm a victim. Where people have called me this time up because they're like, hey, they see you speaking, they see you that you have a recognizable brand. Like Ms. Clarity here, you see that she's a direct, she's recognizable. If you send an application for a tender in wherever, she's in a Metro municipality, therefore they know her. Then when they see her CV as part of the people that will be on the team, they then appoint that you on those bases. Then when you get that tender, then you don't go carry. You understand? You must have those work ethics. The team that you always put on your tender, call them back so that they feel included. Organogram, this is like how you put your structure to say, this is what you're going to do. And then also you manage to bind your thing. I prefer the binding, there are two types, right? The one with the reel, that one. I don't prefer that one because the one can take out the paper and there won't be evidence that there was a paper there. So I use the one for stapler and put a tape. So even if they rip a paper, then they will see that there was now a page here and it's missing. Then they can call you to say, hey, there's a page missing. Can you please submit it? Thank you.
Sure.
Do you have any questions for a successful business? Oh, yes, I will not forget.
You want to know how much?
I almost forgot. Oh my God. What was the name? Do you have any questions that we can answer maybe quickly?
Yeah.
As I'm opening this. There we go.
Don't worry, you come back and tell us. Good to see that. Can we have another round of applause for Mr. Time.
Thank you.
Time is flying.
We'll share this. It's opening now. The devil is waiting hard.
You don't want to show us.
I really want to share. It's almost done.
Thank you so much. I think now we are deeper in it now. You can see how one town planner can identify a niche and pursue it seriously, getting deep into the knowledge as if he was a telecommunication, I don't know, officer, specialist somewhere. Guys, I think this is what we want in town planning today. It's no more that static field where you just look at plans and your drawings on AutoCAD. Oh no, it's become now that pluridisciplinary field where you can really dive deep in it. And just before I call the next speaker, I will give a 5-minute break so that those who want to go out or drink some water may do so. But I just want to share also a little bit about our company, but on how we managed to identify, that niche. I'm very glad one of our good partners is just behind there. He's the owner of Biofuel Access. And with him, we work on one project whereby we were able to identify how to change, waste into biogas and compost that can then assist the community to grow food on the landfills. You see, it takes you now to become as if you studied agronomy or, I don't know, agriculture, but it's still planning. But you need then to make the research, have the right partner, and dive deep in it to be able then to find the right resources. And that's what we want in this session, entrepreneurship in planning. This being said, 5-minute break, really 5 minutes. Oh, you wanted to ask a question? or maybe when we come back? When we come back, we take your question and then we dive into the public sector because those are our bosses. Our bosses, we need to hear from them and the opportunities that is there. Thank you so much. 5 minutes.
I'm going to steal 1 minute of your 5 minutes.
Hey,
So it's opened.
It's open. It's open.
It's open. So for signing a lease option to lease agreement, right? With a private company, I get paid 200 rand per megawatt. And then we were signing a 63 megawatt project, so that's 200 times 63. That was amounting to 12,600. And then that is for the option to lease. After the studies, when they proceed with the document, then I get paid about 800 rand for that private ownership. I get paid that 800 rand per megawatt for the same lease that I signed 3 years back or 2 years back. So you take that 800 multiplied by 63, and that would be the payout. And then for rural development or land transitional authority, I get 250 rand per megawatt. You when we multiply it, it comes to 15,750 rand for that document. And then after, when it comes into pass, when they start developing, I get 1,500 rand per megawatt for that development. And then you multiply that by 63. And that's how much you will be getting when that project comes into pass. Then you charge your kilometers at AA rates. Then you have your disinvestment, your preaching, your agenda, your resolution. Then you have your retainer. So with my contract that I have with my client is that I have a retainer, certain amount of it. Even if I don't do work, then I get a certain amount, which is like now it's sitting at 10,000. So I get 10,000 if there was nothing that was done at that month.
Your retainer is Your retainer is what? Is it a monthly retainer or?
It's a monthly retainer. Every month I get paid that was to say we've been talking. So I've been calling people with my airtime. I need to pay the cell phone bill, guys. So it's also important that I think that is this one I was taught by Maggie. For everything that you do, especially that is always ensure that you get paid for it because it's your time. Yeah, if you call for 5 rand, you must get paid for 10 dollars.
Yeah.